Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And if you're unable to make it, I will be sending this recording out tomorrow to everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. This week, we are talking about the sun and identity. And just the way I've been teaching is to keep building on the same kinds of patterns each month. And so I will continue to do that. I'll show how the sun expresses through the elements, through the modes, through the signs, and then the houses. So let's get started. Okay, so of course we're going to talk about the sun meaning, and then again, like I said, the identity by element, by modality, by sign, by house expression, and then we'll just look at a few little examples of that and talk about some of the upcoming classes, which I'm excited about. And I always like to start out with a quote, and I thought this one was really applicable for the sun of ourself. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who we truly are. And the sun certainly expresses that. Carl Jung. So, the sun, I am. The sun is ourself. It's our identity and our conscious mind and our ego and our core being, our essence. It is who we really are inside. And it's just one of the big three, as I call them, the sun, the moon is the emotional body, and then the rising and the interface to the world, how people see you. And we'll be talking about those in the next few classes of the beginner classes. And if you're on here with me, I'm not really looking at the chart while I'm doing this. So I'll stop every now and then if that's okay. If you, I mean the chat, if you're have a question or something. Yeah. It'll probably be more about adding to, not question, but I'm going to start out with talking about the elements, just as I said, to build on the patterns um, as as you learn. So, identity by fire, what feeds us, the elements. So, of course, the fire signs again are Aries and Leo and Sagittarius, fire signs. And the sun expresses the identity in the fire sign elements through action and inspiration and risk. And this is just a part of how the sun expresses, and it's a more generalized way, looking at it through the elements. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, autonomous and moving forward and courageous. Those are all how the sun expresses in fire signs. And when out of alignment in a fire sign, the sun would show up as restless or maybe reactive, some anger, some defensiveness coming through, but we can restore our sun in our element by just taking initiative, moving around physically, and through creative leadership. So the next element is Earth. So our Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And the sun is fed through this element, through building and stabilizing and producing and making things and structure and just, things we can touch and feel results and having feeling competent in what we're doing. And out of alignment, that can show up as over controlling or self-critical, rigid, wanting to be right and not wrong. But it can be restored in the earth element. The sun feels good creating something real, something practical, just making progress in a project you're working on, a practical project, or just staying grounded in the routines of your daily life. And then in the air element, so what feeds the sun in an air sign of Gemini, of Libra, or Aquarius? Our identity shows through in air signs through our thinking and connecting and conceptualizing and seeing how things are and talking about them through our ideas and our conversations and sharing perspectives and open dialogues. Very air sign food for the sun. And if your sun is out of alignment in an air sign, then that could cause you to be detached or removed from a situation, maybe looking at it from above and not really getting tangled up in the what's going on, feeling scattered, or maybe on the other side, over analyzing things. But again, our sun can, we can restore ourselves in an air sign by having those conversations and maybe learning about a new topic or just, going out and hanging out with friends and having some conversations and being social and interacting. So that leaves water, the element of water. What feeds our sun in a water sign? So that's Cancer and Scorpio and Pisces. So your sun shows up through feelings and through bonding and through meaning and water signs because it's water signs like that emotional authenticity, and that's how the sun shines with this, with depth, with intimacy. And on the shadow side, or on out, if it's out of alignment, then the sun can kind of go behind a cloud a little bit, if you will, or withdraw, or maybe be overwhelmed, guarded, or what I like to say is as the wall goes up. um, it can be restored though in a water sign by just sharing your emotional truth, expressing yourself creatively or in a spiritual sense, or just having a safe connection with someone. So then we'll move to modality. So, how does the sun express in the different modalities? We're just building, okay? We know there's this part that's a fire sign. Now we're going to go into the modalities. So, in a cardinal sign, how does the sun express itself? The cardinal signs are, as a reminder, they're Aries and Cancer and Libra and Capricorn. So, there, as a sun in one of those signs, you're going to be a person who starts things, the initiator, that the leader, the one in charge. That's how you're going to show up in a cardinal sign. And the shadow side of that would be maybe trying to over control a situation, or maybe letting some anger seep through, or being impatient about something. So, a fixed modality, how would the sun express in that? Well, those fixed signs are Taurus and Leo and Scorpio and Aquarius. So a sun in one of the fixed signs would actually show up as a person that shows a commitment or a stabilizing influence in the way they show up, and certainly one who wants to master deep topics and situations. But on the shadow side, those fixed signs with your sun there might show you your stubbornness coming out, or your resistance to change, which is hard for a fixed sign, but especially if it's your sun, that's just sometimes how you're going to express if you're on that shadow side. So, last but not least, mutable signs. So, the mutable signs again, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So the sun in any of those signs are going to be the ones that can adapt to a situation, who can evolve in a situation, and the ones who like to learn, seek the truth. The shadow side of that might be that scattered side, not being able to focus very well or avoiding things. So it starts to get a little busy here on the screen, but it's because I want to keep repeating the patterns that you see. So now we're going to delve a little closer to identity by sign. Instead of the generalities of the modalities um, or the elements, we'll drill down by sign. And so the first one in the wheel is Aries, and it's a cardinal fire sign. So, how does an Aries express? How does the sun express through Aries? Well, it's through being bold, taking bold initiatives. If your sun is in an Aries, then you just have to do there. You have to be out front. You have to act, and you have to know who you are. That's Aries expression of the sun. So the sun there, the core strengths that an Aries would have, a sun in Aries would have courage and initiative. The shadow side of that would be that impulsiveness, or maybe argumentative side of an Aries. But what I'm calling a growth edge is how I think that if your sun is in Aries, how if you're looking at all of the strengths and the shadows, the opportunity for growth that you have is learning how to act with courage and awareness, but then learning to have a little bit of restraint um, with how you come across without losing your boldness. All right, so we'll move on to Taurus and the specific expression of the sun there. Taurus, fixed earth sign. So your sun in Taurus, your identity shows up through your stability, your responsibility, your value creation. The strengths of a Taurus with your sun there are always dependability and loyalty. You can count on a Taurus sun. And in shadow, the Taurus sun might have a tendency to be rigid sometimes, or just resistant to change, maybe. But the growth edge here for a Taurus sun would be to learn to combine everything, to learn a little flexibility without losing how you ground yourself and those core strengths of yours. Okay, so Gemini, mutable air. I like this wheel. If anybody wants it, I'll send it to you, but it keeps those when you're learning right there for you. You don't have to remember in the back of your head, okay, what is it? Is it Earth? Is it Cardinal? It's a really good wheel for that. Gemini, mutable air. Gemini suns shine through their inquisitiveness and how they engage with people mentally. Their core strengths are that curiosity and ability to adapt in situations and conversations with people. And the shadow side would be another a scattered focus, or maybe skimming the surface in a conversation, being asking a lot of questions, but then, not really going deep with it. That's the shadow side of it. So when I consider a growth edge for a Gemini sun, it would be learning to stay with something long enough so you can develop mastery rather than, um, take really go really more deeply with your inquisitive questions and your inquisitive nature. Cancer. Cancer's a cardinal water sign. So a Cancer sun, they shine through their emotional leadership and how they care for others, with their core strengths being emotional intelligence and protection, how they like to protect the people, their families, their loved ones. And in shadow, that can show up in a Cancer sun as withdrawal or moodiness. So, with those things in mind, I consider the growth edge for a Cancer sun to be learning how to set your boundaries that protect you without closing off your heart. If you guys want to say anything, feel free to unmute and jump in. And if you don't, that's fine too. All right, so Leo. Leo is a fixed fire sign, and Leo suns, they are that creative, self-expressive type, as we like to say, the actor. And if your son's there, you're definitely going to be the actor on the stage. So the core strengths for a Leo sun is really your creative voice. In shadow, that might show up as always needing the applause, or maybe over dramatizing something, over exaggerating something. But the growth edge for then that Leo sun would be to learn to have self-confidence that's rooted, or confidence rooted in your self-worth, and not really needing the applause because you are confident in yourself. All right, Virgo, mutable earth. The Virgo sun is, they show up in service. They show up through being able to refine things, looking at an Excel spreadsheet and just knowing what needs fixed or refined in it, something like that. And the core strengths for a Virgo are their discernment and knowing how to improve things. So the shadow side of a Virgo would be that perfectionism or self-criticism, leading me to the growth edge of, if you have a Virgo sun, your learning opportunity, your growth in life is to learn how to allow sometimes things to just be good enough while you're still refining them, while you're still working on them, and not being too critical that it's not there yet, because you'll always get it there. All right, Libra, cardinal air. There's your air sign. So Libra suns, here's the Libra scales. So it's about balance, it's about harmony, it's equilibrium. The Leo sun or Libra sun just brings that to the table. And their core strengths are that balance and relational awareness. So a shadow might be the people pleasing aspect that comes out, or being indecisive, unable to make a decision sometime. So the growth edge is learning to choose yourself without abandoning that balance and harmony. All right, Scorpio, fixed water. Here it is on the chart. Scorpio suns shine by diving deep, but going down into the depths of the water and transforming. That much overused word, but it is a Scorpio thing. So the core strength is that emotional depth and the ability to change when necessary, even though it's a fixed sign, because they went deep and they decided or figured out it's going to happen. So I need to do it. The shadow part of that would be trying to be over controlling or emotional guardedness. Again, that wall going up to protect themselves. So the growth edge would be for a Scorpio sun, learning to trust themselves, trust others enough to let go of control and take their hands off the wheel and let somebody else drive for a little while. Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign. So Sagittarius sun, they get, they show up through exploration and belief, through their spirituality. It's just their core part of their being, their vision and their optimism for life. Their shadow can be avoiding or not having limits or going beyond the limits sometime, and sometimes over promising or exaggerating. So the growth edge for a Sagittarius sun would be to learn that you can commit to something long term without feeling confined by it, without feeling closed in. Capricorn, cardinal earth sign. Capricorn sun. Capricorn's very responsible. So they identify and they show up in that way, bringing their sense of responsibility, bringing their need to achieve. And the core strengths that they have, though, are that accountability to themselves and others and endurance. Their shadow side could be over identifying with achievement, and the Capricorn sun's growth opportunity is to allow themselves to be vulnerable alongside that endurance and strength that they have so much of. Aquarius is a fixed air. So a sun in Aquarius is innovative and independent, but their core strengths are that originality and that freedom that they bring, that they need, that they have. The shadow part of that would be that emotional detachment because they're looking at things from a bigger picture. And so their learning opportunity, their growth opportunity would be learning to stay emotionally involved and emotionally present and remaining that original, authentic self of the Aquarius sun. And then last on the wheel, certainly not least, is Pisces, a mutable water sign. So the Pisces sun is a sensitive and creative soul. That's how they show up. That's how they shine. Their core strengths are their compassion and their imagination. And the shadow side of that would be escapism or blurry boundaries, maybe not having boundaries, things seeping through. So their growth opportunity would be learning discernment without losing that empathy that they have. Okay, so now all the busy pictures go away, and it's a lot of words. So we don't have to um, go through all of them. But the sun is expressed in the houses also. There's all of these layers when you're looking at the astrology chart as to how something expresses itself. And we're not even going to go into anything more advanced from that. But in the houses, then you've had, you've had your actor and the wardrobe. And now the sun was the actor. And now we're going to talk about the stage that you're on when the sun is an expression in the first house. So, the first house is the house of self already. So if your sun is in the first house, you don't get to hide. You are out there. You are embodying that sun directly. In the second house, that's the house of values. And so your sun is going to show up with a life that reflects the things that you truly value, your self-worth and your stability. Stability would be very important for a sun in the second house. Third house, that house of communication. So well, your sun is going to express it by doing it directly. Say what you want to say. Write it down and make a book out of it. Teach it. But that's how your sun can express in the third house. In the fourth house, that's your family house, ancestral roots. And so your sun is about that. It's about home and family and where you come from, where you live, and that's how the sun's going to express. In the fifth house, it's the sun's going to need creativity, um, to feel vital, to feel alive. They'll need that personal creative outlet in the fifth house. And in the sixth house, you're going to show up with what you practice every day, your service, your health, your self-improvement. Maybe you end up being a Jane Fonda, and this is really dating me, bringing bringing aerobics to the forefront for everyone. Or I'll go to jazzercise because I like that better, but that's probably still dating me. But that would be a sun showing up, doing something like that in that house. All right, so in the seventh house, the way I look at it is it's the house of karmic relationships or significant partnerships. So really, the sun is like a reflection of their partner, standing face to face and reflecting off of each other. In the eighth house, that's emotional honesty, it's depth, it's the sun shines, even though they've been through fires, that's how you show up. And the ninth house, it's expanding your worldview, finding your truth, broadening your horizons. That's the sun in in the ninth, and in the 10th, it's kind of like the first house because you are meant to be seen. That house of career or reputation or being out front. So in this house, the sun needs that recognition and it's really what you came here to do, to stand out in some way. And in the 11th house, it's more about the sun is just going to be contributing to something larger, show up, glow up socially. They'll feel more vital and alive when in their friendships and in their social groups. And in the 12th house, um, it's the sun is, I don't want to say it's behind a cloud. It's not, but the ego part might be kind of hidden. But the sun shines in the spaces that other people avoid in the 12th house. So I'm going to distill that down a little for newer people. Okay. So if you're new and you're looking at a chart and you see where the sun is, even if it's just looking at your own chart, you can say, okay, I shine my brightest in let's say you're in the first house, in my own identity, who I am. That's how I shine bright. If your sun is in the fourth house, you can say, I shine my brightest in my security in my home. In the eighth house, you could say, I shine my brightest in my surrender in my eighth house. Um, I like this. And what you can do then is kind of change these words out, make your own words for what the houses mean to you, and pick out what you believe that that sun would mean coming out there. So these words aren't the only words you can use. I mean, here are what the various houses mean in a nutshell, but pick out what words ring true for you and make yourself a list like this when you're starting out. And it's a good way to distill it down without having all those words on a page. And it's a short little cheat sheet, if you will, for how the sun expresses in a house. So, what I thought we'd do then is I just threw a few charts out there, and this is a beginner class, so we're only focusing on the sun and kind of relating it to this chart. So new people can look at that and find, okay, this person has their sun in the 12th house. So, oh, that means that this person shines their brightest in tranquility or in peace. There's a lot of other things going on, but we're going to focus on the sun here and get into charts a little further down the road in the beginner classes. So in this chart, looking at it, here's the sun. It's up in the 11th house. So this person shines brightest in community, in friendship, in social situations. Whatever word you want to put there, that's where they shine. And these are just like celebrity charts and stuff, and I'm not going into who, what, or why. They're just for purpose of illustration. All right, so this one, you can really see the sun there uh, in Leo, no less. So the sun is in the ninth house. So this person shines brightest in their wisdom, in their worldview, in in their spirituality, whatever word you choose to put there from your list, that's how they shine bright. And that one's probably really shining bright because they're a Leo ruled by the sun, but I think I remember who that one was. Okay, so where is the sun on this one? Down here in the second house. So this person has a sun in Taurus, and they shine brightest in their stability, in their security, in their values. So easy ways to kind of start recognizing the house expressions for the different signs. These beginning classes go so fast. Okay, so upcoming classes, you probably recognize Celeste there. That's such a beautiful picture. So the next class is March 25th. All of the classes are always going to be first and fourth Wednesdays at 5:30 Central Time. So if it's daylight savings, it's still 5:30 Central Time, whatever that is, because I know I don't have daylight savings time here in Arizona, but everyone else, I think, has that. There might be another state that doesn't. But so watch your clocks because it'll change next week, I think. She's going to teach on map to chart mundane astrology and the Aries chart of the USA, which is so on topic right now. So I'm excited for that one. So bring your questions. Then on April 1st, the beginner class is the moon and emotions. And the April 22nd class is going to be a conversation around Uranus entering Gemini and staying there for a while and what that means. So I'd like it to be a conversation. Join me. It's about changing frameworks, changing perspectives, and I'd love to hear what other people feel and think about that Uranus entering Gemini as well. And I will have the second quarter classes up. They'll be in the newsletter on Friday. So, any comments or questions from the gallery? Okay. Well, then I am going to bid you a good night. I'm kind of glad this one's over a little early because I have a birthday party to go to. So
Oh,
thank you
birthday.
for showing up.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of your support, and I will get this out to everyone
Yeah.
tomorrow. So have a
Very
great,
nice.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Have fun.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Julie.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.